Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hopefully y'all been doing well and staying safe. In today's video, it's going to be a different type of style of video than I normally would do. So it'd be a good idea to tell this story today and see if you guys enjoy this type of videos. And if you guys do, I can definitely do more. I'm not going to keep you guys waiting for long, so let's get into it. Now this story takes place about 10 years ago, back when I was in primary school. Now it all started off as a normal day. I got up, went to school. I hated school. I can't remember much about my day, but I know it was a Friday, and I know that I organized with one of my friends at the time to stay over at their house that night. All I can really remember from that is going to school, hating school, and just trying to get through the day as normal. I wasn't really a good kid back then, but I wasn't a naughty kid either. I just didn't do much work, primary school through to high school. I've always been like that. School wasn't really for me. But that being a school teacher, I actually had a little bit more kind of, I guess, eyes on me. It's like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, you know, blah, 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 all that type of shit that you normally get from from having a family member who is in teaching. Now, the person in question, I'm not going to obviously say their name here, so let's just call him Bob. So me and Bob we were friends, but he was one of those people that was extremely naughty, had a rough home life. He hung around a rough group of friends, and yes, I was friends with all of them, but let's just say that those friendships don't really last long with those types of people. This is actually one of the last times I can remember hanging out with him. I definitely didn't stay over at his house again after this because of what happened. After school finished, the plan was for me to sleep over at his house. He lives about 10 minutes away, so we went from school straight to his house, and we just walked there. Now, before we got to his house, I actually had to end up calling my mum and asking for permission to stay over, because it was one of those things where it was a good idea, but we didn't have permission first, so I had to clear it with my mum. So after school, when the school bell rang, probably about 3 o'clock, I think 2:50, I can't exactly remember, because I just knew some days the times are a little bit different than others. Me and this friend, we went up to the office to collect our phones, because normally if you bring your phones to school, you're supposed to hand them in at the front office back in primary school, and that's what we did. So my mum said it was all good, and his mum said it was all good, but he actually had to go home first and, like, I think clean his room and, like, do the dishes or something. He had to do a couple of chores before I could actually come over. So whilst we were walking home, we lived pretty close to each other, so I just said, hey man, how about I just stop home first, get my stuff, and then I'll just come over to your house when you're ready. Now I got home and I started packing for the sleepover just as you normally would, just like clothes, stuff like that. And for some reason, I decided to bring something with me that just makes me cringe to this day, but I thought it would be funny back then. For some reason, I had this like big brown fluffy teddy bear that was probably half the size of me, and I don't know what crossed my mind for me to be like, hey, let me bring that to a sleepover at the age of like 12, but I decided to do that. So I had like this big blue square backpack that made me look like a fucking idiot. So I decided to shove the teddy bear on top of all my clothes and like I think my phone and my phone charger, stuff like that. So after getting the bear in the bag, it was so big that I couldn't fit the full bear in it. So I decided to have the bear's head sticking out of the fucking backpack as I rode to my friend's house. For some reason, like I just think back to this night, to this day, to this night, to this sleepover, to my friend, and I just cringe so hard, because why would I bring a fucking teddy bear to a sleepover? For some reason, I just thought it would be funny showing up with a teddy bear, but it's not like I need it to sleep or anything, but it's just what I did. When I got to my friend's house, he obviously said, man, what's up with the teddy bear? And I had to explain it to him, and then his mum saw and his dad, so then I had to explain to his parents how I thought it would be funny to bring it over. After I told them why I brought a fucking teddy bear to a sleepover, they gave me a really weird look, and he gave me a look like he was embarrassed of me, but we moved on. Alright, now after we entered his room, stuff like that, put my bag down, I asked him, I said, bro, where am I going to sleep? Like, there was no room on the lounges out there, because his house was kind of a bit trashy. Like I don't like saying that, but like not trashy, just a lot of stuff everywhere. There was like bags of stuff, like bags of clothes, stuff like that. So all the lounges in the lounge room were covered in like blankets and pillows and stuff like that. And I felt really awkward asking his parents. So I said, hey bro, like where am I going to sleep tonight? He's like, you're going to sleep in here with me. I said, oh, like in the bed? Because I thought that was a bit weird because the bed was pretty small. He said, oh, you can sleep in the bed, I'll sleep on the cushions. I kind of felt bad. I didn't want him just to sleep on the floor. Like I know I'm the guest and everything, but I didn't want one of my homies sleeping on the floor. I regret that a little bit now. Now, me being the guest, I said, hey man, I'll take the floor. It's all good. I thought he would have a mattress for me or a fold out bed or something like that. Something comfortable and soft. You know, you don't really invite people over to your house if you don't really have anywhere for them to sleep. Now, he had somewhere for me to sleep. It was on the floor next to his bed. But what he had me sleep on was fucking crazy. He pulled out these 2 crusty, big, old lounge cushions and he just put them next to each other on the floor and he threw a sheet over it. Now, in my head, I was thinking, oh, dude, I should have just said the bed. But I'm not that type of guy. So I decided, oh, man, oh, good, sweet, sounds good. Anyway, so after I put down the rock hard lounge cushions that I would be sleeping on, we decided to play some Xbox. I think we're playing, it was either like Halo or Gears of War. We were both big on Xbox back in the day, but it was just one or the other. Now, fast forward to dinner. We just had Maccas. We all got Maccas, like his mum, his dad, me and him. Now, here's where the story really, really starts picking up. We actually just started playing some Halo and Gears of War after dinner, just before we had to go to bed. It was a Friday night, so obviously the weekend was tomorrow, but we didn't want to stay up all night to be tired the next day because we're going to hang out all the next day anyway. So we'll take in turn, whatever game we were playing, it was the multi, like I know it was online, so we'll take in turn, like if I get killed, he has the controller, if he gets killed, I have the controller. Now we stayed up to about 1 a.m. I think it was like 1:30ish roughly. Don't get me wrong, I could have got that wrong, it was 10 fucking years ago, but you know, it was about 1:30 in the morning, and we decided to go to bed. I'm like, hey bro, gonna go to bed pretty tired. He's like, yeah man, me too, I'm pretty tired as well. So this night is a little bit traumatic for me, as obviously the story will tell. It doesn't affect me much anymore, but I remember back then, this had me freaked out to be around this dude. And the reason why I mention that is because I remember picking up on like little things. Like I remember the time 1:30ish when we went to bed. So I remember when he said he's going to bed, I did pick up on that it seemed to not be like legit. He didn't seem to be tired and did one of those like fake yawns that you do. It's really hard to explain what I kind of picked up on, but obviously I didn't at the time. I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, he might just be being a good dude, pretending like he's tired because he doesn't want to like make me feel bad or something. That's kind of just what I was thinking. Alright, so before we went to bed, I brushed my teeth, like gave him a handshake, said, alright bro, appreciate you letting me stay here tonight. We'll figure out what we're doing tomorrow, but how about we go up to Macca's again and get some food. We both went to bed as normal, like nothing really else happened. We didn't kiss or hug or anything. Now this is where the story takes a turn for the worst. Now if you guys can remember back to the start of the story when I said I brought that teddy bear, this is where this story scared me so much back then, because I remember waking up for some reason and I had no idea why. I woke up, I opened my eyes and I was just in a dark room. I was kind of laying there waiting for my eyes to be adjusted, stuff like that, because I just was unsure why I woke up. I didn't hear any noise or anything, I just don't know why I woke up. But he had an alarm clock next to his bed and it was the only bit of light in the room. Everything else was pitch black. I think it was roughly 3:30 or 3:40 in the morning. I just remember 3 something, but it wasn't early. It was like pushing 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was the middle of the night, bro. Like you should be sound asleep. So I'm like, what the fuck? Why did I wake up? Like normally I only have to wake up when I need to pee. I didn't need to pee, so it was a bit weird. It was a bit out of my routine. As I laid there, because I was just trying to think like, oh, what could have woken me up? Because I knew I got woken up, but I didn't hear any loud noises or anything. I just was unsure why I was suddenly awake. And I'm like, oh, it's probably because like I'm not at home and you know what I mean, not being homesick, but it was out of the ordinary for me to stay at people's houses. Like it just was. Like I didn't have that many friends that I hung out with outside of school, and this was one of the first sleepovers, funnily enough. Now, while I laid there with my eyes open and my eyes adjusted to the room, I noticed my friend, okay? And when I tell you that my heart dropped, bro, it dropped. He was not laying in his bed. He was standing on his bed, reaching up to his ceiling fan. He had like a ceiling fan and like one of those big like rounded lights on it, and that was obviously on hanging from his fucking roof. And mind you, this is at 3:40 in the morning, and I froze for a second because I'm like, bro, what the fuck is that? I realized it was my friend, and I'm like, oh, maybe he's just like getting up to go to the toilet or something, because like he probably had to step over me, you know what I mean? Like maybe jump across me, because I was kind of laying right next to his bed and the door was to my right, so like he'd have to get over me or walk kind of past the bottom of my feet to get to the door to go to the bathroom if he needed to. So that's my first thought. It did scare the shit out of me, but that was, I'm like, oh, he's just going to the toilet. But then I noticed that he just wasn't moving, and I could hear like just him fiddling with it. And I said, hey bro, like what the fuck are you doing? Like it's almost 4 o'clock in the morning. What are you doing? He's like, oh, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm just going to the toilet. I said, no, bro, like you woke me up clearly. Like it's 4 o'clock and you've been standing there for like 10, 15 seconds. What the fuck are you doing? He's like, oh, I just thought it would be funny. I said, you thought what would be funny, bro? Like you're standing up fiddling with the fan. Like are you trying to make it drop on us? It's like, no, nothing like that. Now I could barely see. It's a pitch black room and the alarm clock is the only source of light and my eyes only just started to adjust as I said before. When I went to go turn the light on, he said, nah bro, don't do that. And in my head I'm like, what the fuck does he mean don't do that? Like I'm turning the light on, like what the fuck? And as I turned this light on, obviously I wasn't facing him. So when I turned around, I didn't know what I was going to see. I didn't know what he was doing. I didn't know what he was playing with, but I knew he was fucking around with the fan and the light and it was annoying me and I was so confused. Now, when I turned that light on, I didn't know what I was going to expect. All I knew that my friend was up at like 3:30, 4 a.m. He clearly woke me up. I didn't hear him, but like he's moving around on the bed. He might have just stepped like on my cushion because like where he was standing was near like my head, kinda. But he was like using the bed as like kind of like I guess like a stepping stool to reach the fan. So like he could have easily stepped on the cushion that I was laying on. That could have woken me up, but I just don't know what woke me up, but clearly it was him. He's above the bed messing around. Clearly he woke me up. Now, when I tell you that my heart sunk to my stomach, it sunk to my stomach, bro. This motherfucker was hanging my teddy bear with rope. And you know what was in his right hand? A fucking machete. He had a machete cutting this rope to hang my teddy bear was hanging from the ceiling fan. I froze. I didn't even say a word. He was holding this machete that was longer than my arm. Mind you, he was holding it above my head, balancing very awkwardly over me to reach one of the fan blades, and he was trying to tie a knot around my teddy bear's head. So not only was he doing all that psychotic shit, what happens if he would have dropped it or fallen on me, bro? Now, I immediately, after I snapped out of the first initial shock, I said, bro, what the fuck are you doing? He just started laughing hysterically. I said, bro, where the hell did you get that knife from? He's like, it's not a knife, it's a machete. I said, that doesn't matter, bro. Like, wait, what are you doing? It's 4 a.m. and you're hanging my fucking teddy bear from the roof. He's like, you're the bitch that brought a teddy bear to a sleepover anyway. And you know what? Fair play. Fair fucking play. You know, I thought it would be funny, but it wasn't. It was cringe, and I still cringe at it to this day. But you're telling me, because I bring a teddy bear, you were using a machete to cut a noose for my fucking teddy bear. I said, nah, bro, this isn't on. I'm going to go tell your parents because you're scaring me. And I shit you not. He looked at me and he said, bro, if you open that door and go tell my parents, this machete isn't only going to be used on the teddy bear. I almost vomited, dude. I was so fucking scared. I said, no, I was just kidding, bro. And I started stuttering. He's like, it's fine, bro. Just don't leave this room for the rest of the night. I said, yeah, man, of course. Like, I don't want to get you in trouble or anything. So mind you, I didn't know how to ask him to take my teddy bear down. How the fuck do you ask some kid that just threatened to use a machete on you to take the teddy bear down? So I decided I'm just going to leave the teddy bear hanging above me and I'm just going to try and go to bed. I wasn't able to sleep much that night. Let's just say that. Okay, let's just say that I didn't get a good night's rest that night. Mind you, for the rest of the night, my bro was completely silent. He did not say a single word to me. And I tell you, it was the most nerve-wracking sleepover I've ever had. And this was one of my first sleepovers, and it was my last sleepover. And this is how I know I wasn't crazy, guys. This is how I know it wasn't just a dream. I woke up the next morning. As soon as I opened my eyes, I still saw my teddy hanging from the ceiling fan. My friend was on his Xbox playing, I can't even remember what he was playing, but he was playing something. He was like, oh, hey, bro, you're finally awake. And he started laughing. I said, nah, bro, nah, there's nothing funny about what you did to me last night. Like, I'm going home. He says, are you fucking serious, bro? It was a teddy bear. I said, bro, it's not over the teddy bear. It's over when I was confused about what was going on. You threatened to use the knife on me. Like, you threatened to go to my parents. I said, bro, you're hanging my teddy bear from a ceiling fan, bro, at 4 o'clock in the morning. Like, I don't know what you want from me. And then you threatened to use it on me. He's like, I fucking will if you tell anybody about this. He's like, yeah, bro, I don't give a shit anyway. Get the fuck out of my house. Who brings a teddy bear to a sleepover anyway? Now that kind of made me fucking depressed, bro. I bring the teddy bear over as a joke. You know, I bring it over because I thought it would be like a funny joke. Like, what the fuck? You bring a teddy bear to a sleepover? You're a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, that type of thing. I didn't know this dude was gonna hang my teddy bear from the fucking ceiling fan and threaten me with a machete. Best believe, as soon as I told him that and he said that to me, I grabbed my stuff and I walked out. I said to his parents on the way, I said, hey, thank you for letting me stay, but I gotta go home. My mum's not well. And I just walked out the house. Now, you might be wondering, what happened after that? Nothing happened. I didn't tell my parents. I didn't tell anybody at my school. I didn't tell any teachers because I was honestly scared of this kid. As I said, this kid was pretty naughty. Like, he was a naughty kid. He was not well behaved at all. He got into fights a lot. And as soon as I found out that he had a fucking machete, bro, I did not want to get on his bad side. Now, every single day after this at school, he'd always see me and he'd give me the most dirtiest looks. I did have a weird note placed on my table saying it will be my time soon. And I shit my pants when I read that, but nothing came of it. I'm here making the video, so I guess it was just to scare me. That's it for today, guys. It's my first ever story time. If you guys want to see more, I do have a couple of more story times that I think I could tell that would make a pretty decent video. I thought this video was pretty cool. I like sharing one of my most traumatic childhood experiences, and yeah, just don't take a teddy bear to a sleepover, because maybe that's what caused it, or maybe that kid was fucking psychotic. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I thought this would be a cool video. If you guys want to see more, I do have a couple more stories that I think would make good videos. So yeah, just let me know in the comments down below. I appreciate every single one of you. If you made it this far, please leave a like, subscribe to the channel. I probably got another video coming out in a couple of days after this one goes up anyway. It'll be some type of gaming video. But streaming as normal, which is pretty much every single day when I can. So I appreciate you guys hanging out, stopping by. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and keep it safe, guys. Peace.